Hey guys, this is our review video 4-5. These questions are very similar to ones you're going to see on the test. Sorry about my poor handwriting, but here we go. Alright, and this question says, if RL, so line segment RL here, is a perpendicular bisector. So if it's a perpendicular bisector, we know that these are going to be cut in perpendicular, and we know that these are two congruent. So RL is a perpendicular bisector, and it says if FLR, so FLR angle is 20x minus 50 degrees, then what does x equal? So this is in the location of the 90 degree. I know that because it's a perpendicular bisector. So all I have to do is really just say 20x minus 50 is equal to 90. Okay, and so we go ahead and just add 50 to both sides. And 20x equals 140, and then divide by 20. And I get x equals 7. Okay? And again, this is because I know my definition of a perpendicular bisector here, and I know that this angle FLR, I go from F to L to R, and so that's the angle right there. Alright, next problem. Alright, I did say these questions are going to be like the ones you're going to see on your quiz. This is a proof. I'm trying to prove that L and P, so these two angles right here, angle P and angle L, are congruent to each other. Okay? I'm given R is the midpoint of TQ, and I'm also given, sorry I didn't write this, I was also given that so that's one thing. And then I was also given that the measure of PRQ is equal to the measure of angle LRT. Okay? So we need to do a triangle proof to show that these two triangles are congruent. So we're going to start with a statement and then go over to a reason. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my whole little chart. Okay? Remember, when we try and prove a triangle congruent, the first thing you should do is try and figure out which of my 5 reasons is this triangle congruent. Okay, and if I look at this carefully, using this information right here, these two angles, that's this angle here and this angle here. So I know those two angles are congruent given my given statement. And I know R is the midpoint of TQ. So if R is the midpoint, that means this segment is congruent to this segment. So that's from this piece of information right here. And then in my picture I have a 90 degree. So this appears that it's going to be angle side angle is how I'm going to prove this. So let's go ahead and go step by step and make sure we get this correct. Okay? So the first one, R is the midpoint. So statement 1, antivirus. Statement 1 is, we're going to say R is the midpoint, okay, of TQ. Of TQ. Okay, that's statement 1. This right here doesn't prove anything yet, so I don't want to go ahead and use that, so we're going to say given. Now I'm not going to do all my given at once. I could, I'm just choosing not to do it. Okay, what does this tell me? This tells me that TR is congruent to RQ. So my statement 2, that's a 2, is that TR segment is congruent to RQ. And I know that by the definition of a midpoint. Okay, so definition of midpoint. Now, whenever I get something for that, I just proved a side was congruent, so I'm going to put an S here. That means I've already checked off that I got the S done. Alright, next thing. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take care of my other given statement. So this is 3, and I'm trying to match the colors up with what I wrote up here. And we got the measure of PRQ is congruent to the measure of LRT. And why do I know that? That's given information. And the given information tells me that what do I have congruent? I have angles congruent. So one of my A's is taken care of, one of my S's is taken care of. I need to take care of one more A. Now this is, I've used all my given information. Now I gotta look and see if there's anything else in this picture that can help us out. So let's go ahead and see if I can do that. Well, I do see that I have 90 degrees here, so I can say that L TR, or I can actually just say angle T. So step 4 is, we can say angle, or the measure of angle T equals 90, and the measure of angle Q equals 90. And that's actually, how do I know that? It was given in the picture. Okay, they didn't write it, but it was given in my picture. Okay, and then step 5, I can go ahead and say the measure of angle T equals the measure of angle Q. And why do I know that? That's going to be substitution. If they both are equal to 90, then they're both equal to each other. Sound good? Alright, I'm going to move it down a little bit so we have ourselves some more space. So I've taken care of the side angle side. So that was my last angle I proved. So now I just got to prove the two triangles congruent. Now I moved the picture now, but you still have it on your page. So I got to show that the two triangles are congruent. So I'm going to say triangle LTR is congruent to triangle. Now I got to match everything. Well, L should match with P, T should match with Q, and R is going to match with R. And how do I know this? Because of angle, side, angle. Now my very last step is what I'm trying to prove. I'm trying to prove, step 7, I'm trying to prove angle L is congruent to angle P. How do I know this? Well, I proved the triangle congruent, which means all the corresponding parts of the triangle are going to be congruent. So we just say C, P, C, T, C. So after I finish proving the triangle congruent, which I did right here, I can then go ahead and say the angles are going to be congruent because they're part of the triangle, and that's by CP, CTC. Okay? Nice and long problem. That one is going to be a very similar problem to the one on the test. Alright, moving on. Here's the last one for you. This one is an exterior angles theorem. So to do this one, we need to know the exterior angle theorem. And so to do that, we'll go ahead and get 47 plus 3x. So the two remote interiors are going to equal the exterior angle. Okay? And I just threw these numbers together, so we might get a decimal, which is okay. It's not a big deal, or we might not. So I'm going to subtract 2x. Over here, I'm going to subtract 47. And we get x equals, and that's going to become negative 37. And that's my answer. Unfortunately, I made up these numbers kind of randomly off the spot. This is not going to make a whole lot of sense because I'd end up with negative degrees, but for the purpose of this problem, this is how we'd set it up. We do have the two remote interior angles, so this angle and this angle are going to sum up to add up to equal the exterior angle. So here's the exterior angle. So the two remote interior add up to equal the exterior. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. See ya.